We're here at the printmaking studios at Central Queensland University, and my name's Patrick Connor, and James, to my left, is a local visual artist. He's getting a bit of notoriety both locally and also around Australia, and we thought we might ask Jed a few questions about his work and life as a visual artist. Firstly, would it be great to know how long you've been painting and drawing? I presume it's something that you've been doing for a while. Can you maybe give us a little bit of a background about your interest in the visual arts?
Well, I think it really started when I was a kid. My dad was an artist, so sort of getting brought up as an artist or surrounded by art has been quite a constant in my life, and I think with his influence early on, that sort of distilled sort of a bit of creativity and the appreciation of art, and then I was always surrounded by it and always doing it. And then in 2005 I started my diploma in visual arts, and I think that was my turning point where I really wanted to take it on as a professional sort of career. I think even before that I had decided that I wanted to be an artist when I was 15, and did what I could to make lots of work and dream big, I think. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why
exactly.
not?
So you've been then associated with, I guess, the network here in Central Queensland as an artist for some time, and with that also associations with our visual arts studies area. Can you think of any critical moments during that journey through your early development as an artist where things just maybe started to gel for you, or you felt that you'd made the right decision and that things were going to travel along the way that you had imagined?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of times and memories of knowing that I had made that right decision and taking that next step to further my career as an artist. And I think there was a few little stepping stones, just little things that we did that you helped me with, and creating my sort of vision become a little bit more stronger, I think through painting, and the encouragement. I think a little to get that reassurance was with the Emerging Artists Award.
That's right.
At Gladstone. So I think that was your encouragement to enter that, and then to get an award on my first sort of exhibition competition was quite a confidence builder, definitely. So
they say you've got to be in it to win it, and to get some acknowledgement from a peer group is great for your self-confidence. There's been quite a number of opportunities that you've been involved with over the last couple of years, and some of them have seen you connect with networks outside of Central Queensland. There's been some really interesting national opportunities that you've been a part of. Would you like to share some of those adventures with us? Because it's kind of exciting for us to be able to see that, yeah, you can come along and do your studies, but what happens after your studies? How does that all work? And I'm sure other people would be inspired by your story and seeing how even in a place like Rockhampton, your field of vision can actually be quite broad. You can think big, as you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. I think from that first award that I received, it sort of then I started thinking bigger with how I wanted to sort of put myself out there to the community, especially in a more broader sense. And I think when I was shortlisted by the National Portrait Gallery of Australia for a self-portrait I did, and I was still actually learning here at doing my diploma with Peter Indans at the time, and I did a collagraph, and that was I think that was a sort of a way to get recognised within that much broader community, and that was at the National Portrait Gallery of Australia. So, and from there it's been like exhibitions overseas, and always sending things and my artworks in national exhibitions and competitions, and then teaching as well. I had the pleasure of teaching overseas and interstate. So I think that's to put yourself out there in front of that community, not just sort of a regional thing. It's always been a beneficial thing.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm particularly interested to hear a little bit more about the exchange with New Zealand. Can you tell us a little bit about how that opportunity arose?
Yeah, basically it all stems from my social media sort of platforms, and how I've been able to create a bit of identity online, and from that I was able to engage with curators and sort of upcoming curators as well. And then from that I was sourced by a curator from Melbourne, and they were able to have my work amongst some of the leading printmakers in Australia, and for an exhibition in New Zealand. So there was a Vernon Arkey, some of my favourites in there. And
that was a big show. There was some glittering personalities in there in the Australian printmaking scene.
Definitely. And so to have my work hanging with those sort of people, it's an artist. It's a bit of a you have to pinch yourself a little bit, because you sometimes you have to. I always sort of question my own ability, but to sort of have that recognition is quite humbling.
It doesn't come without hard work, though.
Oh, yeah.
You've from the moment that you arrived in Rockhampton, you've been dedicated to what it is that you do. You don't stop. You live and breathe your craft, and I guess the more that you do it, the better you get. Look, if you had any advice for some younger local people who are interested in creative studies, maybe they enjoy drawing and painting, potentially they may see themselves participating in a creative career in the future, what words of advice would you have for them? What would you recommend that they do?
I would encourage education in learning different techniques. I think the key is about technique and how you wish to convey your own narrative through that. And I found with that sort of upskilling in those techniques, I was able to create a very professional product, and then feeling engaged by it as well. So have the opportunity to continue growing and learning myself. I think that's very important, and then also making lots of work and not stop making work. I think that's the big one. Really. Just make work and do.
I've got a question that I presume the viewers would be interested to know what drives you, and in particular, can you give us a little bit of an insight about your work? Would you be able to kind of hone in on what it is that you're looking to achieve visually when you're making things?
I think a lot of my work is just based on emotion and trying to create a work that I connect to and have a emotional response with it. So in a way I'm sort of delving into my own sort of emotions, but to then try to put it out onto a canvas or onto paper is how I sort of approach it. And when I see those outcomes, it sort of spurs me on, knowing that I'm sort of trying to grapple with that those emotions really, and just wish to continue finding that sort of deep sort of sense of spirit as well within it.
I enjoy watching you work. There is certainly a large element of serendipity. There's planning that goes on prior, but you seem to really enjoy engaging with materials, and from my experience, I think that's key. If you feel inspired by the possibilities of the materials, it sort of drives you forward.
Yeah.
CQU has a number of entry points, as you said, at the vocational level with Certificate 3 and diploma qualifications. As of next year, we're also offering a visual arts major in our Bachelor of Creative Arts. For people who have been involved with study here locally in Central Queensland, there's another opportunity to kind of further their process and maybe to sharpen certain aspects of what they do, possibly bring it to a new level. Look, Jet, it's always a pleasure to catching up with you. It's always an insight to talk with an artist about their process and what makes them tick. So thank you very much for your time today, and best of luck with everything in the future.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, cheers, Jet. Thank you.